See ya.
Bye. Be safe. Have fun.
Thank you for giving me that blank check to play with. All right, have y'all ever dreamed about somebody giving you a legit blank check to build any boat you wanted to build? Now, I know that sounds extreme, and maybe it is, but that's exactly what I'm doing right now. This is Project Chasing the Sun Dreamboat. Yeah, look at that! There it is.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Chasing the Sun is brought to you by Holiday Inn Resort, Panama City Beach. Humminbird, simply, clearly better. Florida Water Sports. Get all you need for the water at fws.fish. Minn Kota. And by Pirates Cove Marina. You enjoy the Gulf, we'll take care of the rest.
Today, I'm taking this trailer right here, and I'm driving to Stuart, Florida right now to pick up my 27 conch. And this is an open hull. There's not a whole lot to it right now, but that's why I'm picking it up, so we can get it back up here to Panama City, and I have already set up everything for this build. It's go time, baby. I am so pumped about this. This is 3 years in the making right now. Yes, 3 years. I knew the 27 conch was the hull that I wanted to base this entire project around, because most of my life I've grown up watching fishing shows where the 27 conch was used, and the reason all these guides used it was just because it was such a versatile hull. All right, it is 1:19 in the morning, and I'm in Stuart, Florida. I just pulled up here at Conch, and I can see my baby sitting right on the other side of this fence, but it's locked up with a barbed wire fence. Otherwise, I would have jumped that fence and gone and gave it a look tonight. You know, I don't know how many times I've heard things like, man, it must be nice to have that really cool boat, or, you know, you got like the best guide business, and, you know, you always have great clients, and I get a lot of compliments on the type of business I have. But in all reality, don't forget, there's usually a lot of hard work and sleeping in the backseat of your truck that makes that possible. So set your goals high, work hard, do whatever it takes to make it happen. Well, good morning. I just snagged me a little breakfast here in Stuart and pulled back up here to Conch. Got a decent little bit of sleep, but it's hard to sleep at night when you're laying here in the back seat of the truck and all you can see is that new 27 conch sitting behind the gate right here. I thought it would be about a year, maybe a year and a half before I received the hull. Well, due to supply chain shortages and labor shortages, just to get the hull here and get the project started was an entire project in itself. And when I say this is like a build, I mean, it's a build, like literally my leaning post is right here. It's not even installed yet. I'll do the upholstery on it, and I didn't want it installed because I want to put it right where I want to put it. And you don't really know that until you get your helm set up, have your steering wheel set up where you want it on the dash, and then you like to sit in there behind it and kind of feel what's comfortable. Technically, this is a semi-custom build. And what I mean by that is the hull itself and the console, those come out of a mold. In this case, and in most cases for me, I like to slide the console a little further forward than most manufacturers typically put it. And what that does is it creates more room behind the leaning post, because we do most of our refishing out of the back of the boat. So I want a transom live well where when I'm standing at the back of the boat facing rear, I can have all my live bait right there. Ooh, nice, got friction hinges on it, so wherever I leave it is where it stays. Oh, I love that gasket material under there too. Because once we move past the hull and the console, now you talk about every accessory, the tower, the motor I put on the back. This is just a single engine bracket. This is right here where we're gonna hang that big old 425 Yamaha at. all those things, those are all options that I get to design and choose and put exactly where I want to make the boat function how I need it to function. So, first look, it's everything I dreamed of. This is the boat that I want to keep until the day I die. That's what's cool about building a boat like this. It's not just another boat. It should become part of your family. This, I hope to be a generational boat. Well, there she is, folks, back at home, like we never left. Turned around, drove straight back, and I'm getting too old for this. So, glad that's over with. That's the tough part. Now for the fun. All right, y'all, we're here at Legendary Marine, Panama City Beach. Y'all come see my new conch. If you've heard anything about this story, okay, I ordered this hull about 3 years ago. This is literally a bare hull that I'm gonna rig from scratch. Or when I say I, we here at Legendary Marine, me and Fresh mostly, are gonna rig this entire thing from the hull up. So there's a certain set of needs that I have in a boat, and I base my boat build around that. Now, one thing that has always been the budget, right? I mean, anybody that buys boats knows that's the first thing you're gonna look at is what can I spend on this boat? And if you look like 3 boats back of mine, it was a 23 Parker, and it fit all those needs. And it actually did it, you know, for a really good price. And that's why I built that boat the way I did. And honestly, it did a lot of the same stuff. And then moved forward about 4 years, and I built a 25 Dorado. Again, very similar layout. I'm always covering those same needs. Shallow water access. I want it to ride good. I want an open layout. I want good live well space. I want to be able to carry a lot of live bait. All those things are the things I need in a boat. Those are not wants, those are needs. And if I can do all that in a boat that's gonna be a little bigger, ride a little better, but I don't give up anything, of course I wanna do that. I took everything I've ever dreamed of wanting in a boat, and I took the experience I had with my past boats and the shortcomings they had, and I said, hey, this is my opportunity. I don't care what it costs. We're going to build a boat that does everything well. You don't see all these gauges and gadgets because I'm gonna basically have split screens on these, and I'll be able to manage on touchscreen every different control on this boat from these 2 16-inch apexes right here. I want people to get on this boat and it to look extremely clean and simple. So there's so many things I wanted to add into this, but I didn't want it to look cluttered. Now that I can network everything through my Apex units on my dash, I can keep things reliable and simple at the same time. So it actually gave me that opportunity to add some of these bells and whistles that I'd always wanted, but still keep it reliable and keep it simple. Now, this doesn't look like a lot inside here right now, and that's because we're just getting started. But inside this console, right here in this area below the console, is gonna be a Seakeeper 1. And what that is a gyro stabilizer system that's literally gonna keep this boat from rocking. So this is already a great riding boat, probably the best riding 27-foot boat ever built, but we're gonna make it ride even better. If you're familiar with the big sport fishing industry, you know the Seakeeper has been around for a little while. We run somewhere, we stop, we come out of gear, it's rough, and you're rolling around. It doesn't do that anymore. It won't rock side to side. And now if you held down on the side, it would, but try to rock it and it's gonna stop immediately.
It does stop it.
It's one of the best technologies that's ever been invented. Well, now we have these units small enough where I can put one on this conch. You turn it off, and even though the thing's still spinning, it unlocks it. It's a little different. This is like a simplified version. We're more comfortable because of the Seakeeper. On top of that, we have the new Seakeeper ride system. And that is basically an actuator in the water on either side of the hull and counteracts every wave movement as we're riding.
The whole thing is like the oscillating feature on this particular thing. It's not based on water flowing over it, it runs into it, and like the overall force is applied to the bow of the vessel, holding it down much more stable, gluing you to the water.
Well, how fast it reacts to 100 times a second? That just blows my mind. So you basically have a computer and a gyro in there that is feeling every movement of the boat. And every time the boat wants to move because a wave is pushing it or someone has moved in the boat, it's changing that quick.
Yeah, we calibrate this actual system with the vessel in the water, and that's the attitude adjustment And it always wants to keep it on that exact same plane. If the vessel's sitting absolutely still in the water, it attempts to keep it at that same plane at all times.
These are just some of those things that we're gonna add on this build that's gonna set this boat apart from anything like it. And it also makes it what I would call the most versatile boat ever built. Is because we're using a medium-sized boat, but we've made it ride a lot better than it should, and we've made it a lot more stable than it should be. So that's gonna give us more offshore capabilities. But what we didn't do is we didn't give up that shallow water capability. Makes it more versatile. This is a big undertaking. When I start these projects, I know the time commitment and the effort and the labor and the blood, sweat, and tears it's gonna take to pull this off. And I need this boat on the water and I need it fishing. So I have to make sure every part of the rigging is the best it can be. And the wonderful thing about working with local companies and helping do the work myself is the fact that I'm there for every part of the process.
If it looks crazy in here, it's because, well, it is a little crazy. But the battery bank is now completely done. And we got all the pumps in.
So if one pump goes out, I know where that pump's at, because I put it there. I know where those wire run through the hole. I know where it hits the switch panel. I know the breaker it goes through. I know every part of that build.
Let's go to bait pump 1. I hear it running. Yes.
There's just so many fine details that you can add into these custom builds that you just can't get any other way.
All right, accessory 1, freshwater wash down. Accessory 2, or not accessory 2, I guess, but just accessory here, is my radio, and it works.
Luckily, Legendary Marine has a huge enclosed shop. They're a Yamaha service and dealer center, and so not only am I gonna buy my motor through them, I'm gonna have them help rig it. So of course, they're gonna know better than anyone else would how to keep that motor running.
Well, there she is, folks. That's the Yamaha XTO 425 Extreme Torque Offshore. There's never been one of these 27 conchs with a 425 on it. So I sure hope this experiment works.
In the past, this wasn't on my options list because there wasn't an outboard powerful enough to push this hull really well with all the stuff I'm gonna put on it with a single outboard. Now the Yamaha has the XTO, which is now a 450 horsepower outboard. That now is an option.
So you always want the cavitation plate on the lower unit to line up with the keel of the boat, with the very bottom of the boat. Except when you add a couple of variables in there. We've set the motor back 3 feet, which means I don't want it exactly even with the keel. You actually want it lifted up a little bit because the water rises coming off the keel. And we don't have the lower unit on the motor yet, so it's kind of hard to know exactly where it's going to end up. So what I'm going to try to do is get a measurement and a good idea of where I want that cavitation plate, and then try to kind of predict once we put the lower unit on where it's going to end up. And at the end of the day, it's all a guess. We have to get the boat on the water and run it just to know if it's at the proper height. Builds like this are not for most people. This is a very involved project. There's no instructions. You better be creative, and you better be half redneck and half mechanic. But it's a lot of fun, man. We've made a few mistakes along the way. We've been able to turn those into actual benefits to the project. And we're not that far out, and I've enjoyed it. It's hot though. I'm ready to get this thing in the water and go fishing.
So this is a little part of my dream come true. We finally get to make our maiden voyage. And of course, the boat's not finished yet. There's no tower. We don't have everything that worked together yet. But I have a boat, and I have a motor, and I have all my 12-volt systems and pumps working. So that's good enough where, you know, I get to at least put that boat in the water for the first time. I've been dreaming of this. I've been worried about it. I don't know how this boat's gonna run. This is the first time this boat motor combination's ever been tried out.
All right, so here we go. The moment of truth. Let's try. We'll also be able to see how our motor height works out. We need to lift it or lower it any. And more importantly, just breaking the motor. And that's why we have Yamaha's tech at Legendary Marine, Freshy Fresh, here with us. And he's gonna lead us through that whole braking process. We'll do approximately an hour of idle, fast idle, mid RPM range. And then we'll pick it up and run it a little bit too. And as long as we don't run them like wide open. Or no more than 5 minutes. Yeah, we ain't doing that. Yeah.
It's a relief to know, all right, this boat and motor combination will work. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close. There's definitely some tweaks I need to make, and I knew that going into this. When you're trying to do something new, you're doing something different, there's always gonna be things that you can learn from these experiences. So for the next couple months, I am gonna try different length lower units. I'm gonna raise the motor up and down. I'm gonna try multiple different props. We'll tweak on this, and we'll get it perfect. The tower that I use on my boats is a necessary tool.
All right, here we go, y'all. The first look at the Project Dreamboat tower. This is my first look at it. And I'm not gonna lie, that it is perfect. I don't use that term very much, perfect. Wow. But if I had to sit here and draw up my dream boat and tower setup, we just did it. Just the lines of that pipework is a 10. I mean, honestly, it just doesn't get better. We still got a little ways to go. We hadn't rigged anything. We gotta put the control box up there, all the lighting. Got a lot of work ahead. But this is where it all starts. We're in the final stages now. We're back at Legendary Marine. We're rigging the Humminbird radar up here. We're gonna add a control box up here so we can drive from the tower. We add these pieces of flat bar in so we can do a solid glass enclosure here, you know, just to knock the wind off while we're riding.
I wanted to create the standing platform to be tall enough to where I'd have room for a windshield between the console and the standing platform. Well, I accomplished two things. Obviously, I have a windshield now, which is great, makes it a lot more comfortable ride, but I moved that platform up, which gives me that extra height where I can see more fish.
It's all thought out. This isn't by luck. This is gonna shoot through here so it can see good, but again, it's under the seat, so you don't even hardly notice it up there. It's out of the way. A lot of hours have gone into thinking about, designing, and building just this top right here. And that's the way every project on this boat has been. And it's a labor of love. You know, y'all know I'm passionate about fishing, but if there's something I'm just as passionate about, it's boats. And we're gonna slap about 3 or 4 more items on here. We have the new Minn Kota Instinct 87-inch shaft going on tomorrow. And I think that's gonna be it. And we're gonna put her back in the water, and we're gonna take y'all along for the first shakedown run fishing trip with the complete boat.
Chasing the Sun has been brought to you by Return 'em Right, Earn Another Fight, Florida Water Sports. Get all you need for the water at fws.fish. Holiday Inn Resort, Panama City Beach. Humminbird, simply, clearly better. And by Pirates Cove Marina, you enjoy the Gulf, we'll take care of the rest.
So it's been 6 months rigging, testing, and I think the boat is ready for fishing, I think. With my good friend Kyle Pitts, we are going out today to test everything as if I was guiding and actually fish. Look, it even tells you like how much time you have left on it.
24 hours?
And more than 24 hours at this speed, which is not running.
Yeah.
But if you're running it, like I'll try to go forward with it here, and it still has 24 hours running like that. There's a lot of different phases to a project like this, from the beginning, design phase, imagination phase, to get it in the water for the first time. And now I love this phase. I can kind of see the ergonomics of how we move around the boat and how you sit behind the console. I think every part that I had dreamed up in my head has actually turned out better than I thought it would. This thing rides better than I thought it would. This tower gives me a height advantage. My electronics package, way better than I dreamed of. The stability from the Seakeeper, the comfort when we're cruising from the ride system. All right, I'm gonna shut down, put the trolling motor in the water. All these parts play into making this package even better than what I had hoped. There is no greater feeling than seeing that boat that you put so much time and effort into doing exactly what I had hoped it would do. I hope y'all enjoyed following along with this build. This was such a dream of mine. I can't believe I actually got to do it with this boat. If you're down here in Panama City Beach and you find yourself out on the water, if you see us in the Chasing the Sun Dreamboat, just give us a wave.